Hey guys, how's it going? Alright, today I'm gonna mix things up and give you a completely different genre to deal with. Yeah, that's right, we're gonna take a break from all these crazy psycho horror movies and enter into the fantasy land with Percy Jackson, Sea of Monsters. Alright, we're gonna dive in. You know, because it's the Sea of Monsters. No? Alright, hey. The movie kicks off with a cool underwater sequence. Percy Jackson takes over voice line duties and talks about his life as a half-blood between his very horny father, God Poseidon, and his human mother. We now see a bunch of kids getting chased by some weird monsters. One of them is the daughter of Zeus, Talia Grace. If you haven't seen the previous movie, the other younger kids are younger versions of Luke, Annabeth, and Grover. These monsters are creeping up on the kids, so Talia sacrifices herself to save the others. Damn, they killed off a kid in a kids movie. That's new. Zeus finally decides to do something about this and turns her into a tree so that she can live in the human world. I'm not sure if that's what I'd want, but alright then. Anyway, Talia creates a magical barrier that prevents any monsters from getting through to Camp Half-Blood. Fast forward to the present time, and we see Percy competing against this absolute dick of a character, Clarisse, in some sort of fancy-ass competition. He almost comes out on top, but lets her win so that he can save one of his friends. Oh, that's nice. Clarisse doesn't really care, so she just rubs her victory in on Percy's face like a total asshole. Annabeth and Grover try to cheer him up, but yeah, it doesn't really make him feel any better. And then he starts to doubt his fate as mentioned in the Half-Blood prophecy. Oh yeah, he also tries to talk to his dad, but that dude's a dick who just doesn't want to spend any family time with his son. Alright, there's this one centaur dude named Chiron, and the god of wine, Mr. D, who's not very good with names. They're kinda like the elders in the camp. They meet a guy named Tyson who's able to pass through the barrier because he's also a half-blood. More specifically, he's Poseidon's kid. Percy meets his new bro, but whoa, this dude's a Cyclops. Well, I honestly prefer the guy with the laser eyes. Anyway, the camp is attacked by a Colchis bull that manages to break through the barrier. It's actually a pretty badass monster that gives everyone a run for their money. Well, maybe apart from Tyson. He's actually super strong and is apparently fireproof too. But instead of fighting the bull, he just holds onto its horns. Yeah, that's pretty weird. Eventually, Percy is able to destroy it with his dad's sword in a sick visual sequence. But then, he meets Luke, who survived the previous movie, and talks about rewriting the prophecy or some shit like that. Later on, the camp learns that Talia's tree has been poisoned by Luke, and that's why its barrier couldn't hold up. They gotta do something fast before she dies, or else they're gonna be in a world of pain. Percy starts doubting his abilities and talks to Chiron about it. He sends him over to this super creepy voodoo oracle to learn about the truth. Since he's the only living half-blood of a god, he's got no choice but to be the chosen one. Annabeth comes up with a good idea to save Talia and takes Grover with her to pitch it to Mr. D. She tells him about the Golden Fleece. It's this magical cloak that can apparently cure anything. He's against the idea at first, but then straight up steals it and pitches it as his own during a meeting. Looks like Mr. D's no different than your average corporate suit. On top of that, the dude chooses Clarisse and some satyr guy because only their kind can track down the Golden Fleece. They figure that they need to go to Florida and set out on their journey, but Percy doesn't like the look of this and wants to find the fleece himself. He and Annabeth convince Grover to join them because he's a satyr too. Tyson joins them despite Annabeth not being too cool with him. She even gives him some mist to hide his single eye. What? Is she like a Cyclops racist or something? Bro. She goes on to summon a chariot of chaos, but it's honestly just a Harry Potter ripoff. It's driven by these three psycho witches who only share one eye amongst them. These witches clearly need to get their driving licenses suspended, but they seem to know about the prophecy and about Percy's prophecy in particular. Instead of just saying it how it is, they blurt out some numbers that really don't make much sense. Annabeth gives everyone some bad news when she realizes that they're short on cash and they get dropped off at Washington instead of Florida. It gets even worse for the gang when Grover gets kidnapped by Luke and his team. With no other option, they decide to meet Luke's dad, Hermes, at a UPS store. They ask for help and he agrees to do so by taking them to his factory. It's pretty cool too. He's got this stick that's got a couple of magical snakes in it, and they look like they've got attitude problems. But they eventually help the kids locate Luke on his yacht, the Andromeda. Hermes feels guilty about the way his son feels about him, so he equips the kids with a windy thermos and an erasing tape. He also asks Percy to apologize to Luke on his behalf, but yep, I somehow doubt that's gonna work. The gang locates the yacht, and Tyson asks Daddy for some water support. Percy ain't too excited about it, but Poseidon actually answers Tyson and sends a really cute hippopotamus to help carry them over to the yacht. Maybe Poseidon's got a new favorite kid after all. Anyway, the massive seahorse drops them off and the kids check the yacht for Grover, but he isn't there. They then run into some pretty badass monsters that include a half lion, half scorpion type thingy. It's called a manticore. They get captured, and Luke tells them about his grand plan to revive Lord Kronos, who's like his grandfather or something like that. Basically, he's going to awaken this titan so that he can destroy Olympus. Percy tries to sway Luke by mentioning what his dad said, but that only makes it worse and the gang gets locked up. Honestly speaking, shouldn't Tyson be able to break through those bars if he was able to take on that freaking bull? Anyway, Percy shows off some of his water skills and moves the boat around the ocean so that they can get a hold of the bag that's got Hermes' goodies inside it. They eventually get it and pull out Hermes' vanishing tape. They use it to remove the bars and try to escape. On their way out, they get into a fight with Luke and his team. It's not really as action-packed as you'd think, but at least we see Percy showing off some of his moves by riding a wave to get out of there. Annabeth and Tyson get into a boat, and she uses the thermos to power them away. Now, Tyson undergoes some character development as he talks about how he's been treated differently throughout his life. Oh, poor kid. Annabeth is still kinda cold to him, and I have no idea why. Well, Tyson messes it up later when he drops the thermos into the water, so I guess she does have some reason to be mad now. They enter the Sea of Monsters and watch some shark fins swim around them. Wait a second, they aren't sharks, those are teeth! The boat gets consumed by a huge-ass monster called the Charybdis, and the kids find themselves inside its trippy neon purple tummy. Hey look, Clarisse's boat is in there too. She's lost her satyr guy. Told you it wasn't important. So she picks up some zombies to help her out. They try to figure a way out and Percy comes up with an idea to give the monster a huge tummy ache. It works in their favor and the monster poops out the ship and they come up to shore. Percy's half-blood sensors kick in and those numbers from the taxi driver witches finally start to make sense now. Those monsters were just directions to the Golden Fleece. They learn that the island's called Cersland. They enter it and explore the place, and there isn't really much around for them to see. They then get inside and find a ride called the Plummet of Death. That sounds fun. They get taken to a lair where Grover's been taken captive by a giant cyclops. His name is Polyphemus, and he's also got the Golden Fleece on him. Grover's apparently disguised himself as a cyclops chambermaid so that he doesn't get eaten by the monster, since he's half blind. No, I'm not being mean, they actually say that in the movie. The gang figures out a way to take the cloak away from the Cyclops, but it sure as hell ain't easy. They eventually manage to get away from the dude after some pretty difficult situations, but it isn't over for them yet. It turns out that Luke was waiting for them to do his dirty work so that he can just swoop in and take the fleece. Luke shoots Percy, but shit! Tyson sacrifices himself to save his half-brother and falls into the water. Happy now, Annabeth? The gang is taken hostage while Luke moves ahead with his plan and awakens Kronos with the fleece. Percy's facing some confidence issues, so he gets a little pep talk from Annabeth and Grover and then breaks free. Alright, now it's time to wreck shit up. So a huge battle takes place between Luke's men and Percy's buddies. It doesn't really look good for Percy at first because Luke beats the shit out of him. But just as he's about to land the final blow, Tyson appears out of nowhere and saves his bro. He says that he healed in the water because he's Poseidon's son, so I guess he's finally redeemed himself in front of Annabeth. But Percy wastes too much time hugging him, and Kronos is eventually awakened. He looks like a total badass and Luke is ready to serve under him, but then he gets eaten by his own granddaddy. Yikes. Kronos wastes no time and starts to mess up the joint. He even eats up Grover in the process. Luckily, Poseidon finally manages to power up Percy's sword, and then goes full badass mode to attack Kronos. He cuts him from his chest right down to his, well, private spot, and kills him. Yep, that'll do it. Kronos is sent back to his coffin and Grover and Luke are saved, although Luke falls into Polyphemus' lair. Yeah, I think we all know what he's having for dinner. So, everything's sorted now, right? Oh shit! Annabeth gets stabbed by that freaking manticore! Whoa! Clarisse and Grover kill the party pooper, but it looks like that's the end for her. Poor Percy might never get to shoot his shot now, but wait, he uses the Golden Fleece and comes back to life. Yes, he's still got a chance. Okay, so the Talia tree is healed now, and the barrier is back again, and everyone's happy. For some weird reason though, everyone cheers for Clarisse, even though she did nothing compared to what Percy pulled off. Chiron is pretty happy with his progress, although he suggests that Percy might still have one more mission to pull off before his 20th birthday. But then they see that the fleece was so strong that it literally brought Talia back to life. Damn bruh, she's all grown up now. So now, with another living child of the gods, we should definitely be in for a sequel, right? Oops, I guess I was wrong. So that was Percy Jackson's Sea of Monsters for you. How did you like this shift in genres? Do you want me to do more of these? Let me know in the comments below, and I'll see what I can do. Like, share, and subscribe, and follow for more recaps. And spread the love. I'll see you in the next one.